bench press plus 40 kilograms in 1 year. The biggest factor was not form or programming but mindset. Form and sets are of course important, but whether you can keep doing them comes down to mindset in the end. In this video, I will talk about the mindset I value during the process of actually adding 40 kilograms, how to maintain motivation, how to view grit scientifically, why I chose maximization over efficiency. If you are struggling with bench press progress, please take this as a reference. Hello, this is Shinobi Bench. Today I want to talk about the mindset that helped me increase my bench press by 40 kilograms in 1 year. Previously, I shared how I improved my form to add 40 kilograms in 1 year. Before that, I shared how I organized my sets to add 40 kilograms. This time the focus is mindset, meaning the mental side such as feeling and ways of thinking. When you bring up feelings, ways of thinking, some people may think, oh, it is just another story about grit. Others may look at it coldly saying, if you could get stronger just with mindset, it would not be so hard. I myself once thought that way. I believed scientific training was the only right answer. But when I look back on the 1 year I added 40 kilograms, the things that really mattered was feelings and mindset. Without that, I would not have progressed that much. Conversely, because I had it properly aligned, I was able to grow. Why can I say this? Because no matter how good your form knowledge is, or how effective your set design is, it means nothing if you cannot continue to execute. I believe the biggest wall in strength training is continuation, and what makes continuation possible is mindset. That is why I say as much as 80% is mental. Maintaining motivation. First, let us talk about motivation. Have you ever felt I do not want to train today? I honestly feel that often, when my mood sinks and everything feels like a burden. At that moment, being able to say, I will train today is a big wall. Why does motivation drop? My answer after thinking it through is because there is no change. Humans get bored if they cannot feel change. If you cannot feel growth, you start questioning does this even matter, and continuing becomes hard. For example, when your max bench is stuck, if you lift the same weight for half a year, your spirit will break. Form stays the same, training stays the same. It starts to feel like I'm just repeating the same things every day. Then you gradually lose the will to train. It is the same with dieting. If you drop 10 kilograms in a month, you clearly feel change. But if you lose 5 kilograms over a year, you cannot feel daily progress, and most people give up. Bench press is the same. Not feeling change is the real enemy. So I always made sure to include small changes in training. Updating weight by 2.5 kilograms is one. If you do 10 reps and next time you do 11, that is growth. A small adjustment in form is change. Improving a lift in an accessory exercise is change. Even failure is change, because you learn that something does not work. The key is always getting some sense of progress. Still, there are times motivation just will not rise. At those times, I do not force it. I rest boldly. Taking 1 or 2 days off is no problem. Even 1 week off does not erase your progress. Even a month off in most cases can be regained in the next month. Often during the break, the feeling I want to bench again comes back naturally. So I believe resting when you do not want to train is one way to maintain motivation. Is grit science? Next, grit. Recently, you often hear grit is outdated and scientific training is the only truth. But I think grit itself is science. For example, during the final rep when you push through, your heart raises, breathing intensifies, the sympathetic nervous system activates. At that moment, adrenaline and noradrenaline are secreted, cortisol is released. Dopamine and serotonin increase focus and attention rises. You can draw out more strength than usual. This is physiology, it is science. So the act of showing grit is not just spiritual talk, but a scientific process in the body. That is why I value grit, and without it my bench press progress would not have happened. Maximization over efficiency. Now about efficient training. You often hear on YouTube and FNS things like 15 sets per week is best, or 30 minutes is enough. Yes, with efficiency you can achieve results to some extent, but I did not seek efficiency. Why? Because efficiency only gets you maybe 80% of the potential. The remaining 20% requires inefficient effort. So I chose maximization, not efficiency. I actually tried things like benching every day for 30 days or doing 10 reps for 10 sets endlessly. Objectively very inefficient. But inside I always discovered something new. Inefficient challenges supported my growth. About 20% of your work being playful experimentation is enough. The other 80% should be serious adherence to basics. But adding 20% experimentation keeps motivation and broaden knowledge. People who only do efficient training maybe do not actually like training itself. I truly love bench press. That is why even if inefficient, I wanted to do more and try more. How to treat scientific evidence. Let me touch again on science. I studied biological science in graduate school, so I experienced the research world. From that, I can say most training research is short term, usually 3 to 6 months. But as trainees know, nothing dramatic usually happens in 3 months. Also, a paper is not fact, it is an author's claim. It is like this was a result. So we interpret it this way. So treating it as fact is dangerous. Real fact is when results are replicated for years, many times cited and eventually written in textbooks. So I view research as something to confirm later. First try it in practice. If it works, continue. If not, try something else. Then read papers to check, oh, so that is the mechanism. I think that order is realistic. Discard success, continue failure. Another mindset I held was discard success, continue failure. Success is nice, but clinging to it stops growth. If you progress with high reps and cling to that method, you will eventually stall. Same with low reps. If you cling, you stall. So I see success as temporary and instead dig into failures. Why did I fail? What was wrong? What can I improve next? Repeating this creates new approaches and constant forward movement. Not holding on to success, but using failure as material for the next step. That is my thinking. PDCA cycle and asking why. Finally, for continuous improvement, I applied the PDCA cycle and asking why. PDCA means plan, do, check, act. In bench press, it is plan the program, do it, film it, check, and then improve. Repeating this always moves you forward. More important is asking why. Why 10 reps? Why this grip width? Asking yourself deepens understanding and changes training from something imposed to something chosen. This is similar to total production system method of improvement. Asking why 5 times reveals a real cause. If you can do this, then any wall can be broken through by your own thinking. Today I shared the mindset I valued while adding 40 kilograms in 1 year. How to maintain motivation. The scientific meaning of grit. The stance of choosing maximization over efficiency. How to relate to research. Discarding success and digging into failure. Applying PDCA and asking why. Each of these was essential for me. I am sure they will help your training too. Please take them as a reference. If you find this video useful, please subscribe and like. Let us keep working on bench press together. See you next time.